Hello there, it's David here from Dingle Lane, and today what I want to do is talk to you about accounting systems and what accounting system should you choose. Well, if I can start out by telling you, I'm not going to tell you which accounting system to get, because quite frankly there are hundreds of them out there, and they all have various degrees of functionalities. The pros and cons will depend very much on your personal circumstances, the needs of your business, the needs of your accountant. I have preferences that I use and I encourage my clients to use, but if you're not my client, your accountant may have other preferences. Talk to them. What I want to do here today, though, is run through some of the key things that I think you need to be looking at anyway, regardless of the system, regardless of your needs. Some of the things that you ought to be looking for in terms of what makes a good accounting piece of software. There are, from my point of view, only two really key things that, regardless of anything else, are absolutely critical to your accounting system, that every accounting system should have. And I don't care who you are, how big you are, how small you are, whatever, your accounting system needs to have these two things. Okay? First and foremost, you need to be using cloud accounting. It needs to be an online-based system. It must not be computer, PC or laptop based. Why do I say that? Well, quite frankly, as COVID-19 taught us quite thoroughly, if you have it tied to a particular location and your accounting software is in your office and you can't get there, your accounting system is completely pointless. It is a waste of space, a waste of money, a waste of time. You need to be able to access it wherever you are. It needs to give you live data wherever you are. You need to be able to access it wherever you are so that you can still keep your records up to date. You can still submit your VAT returns on time. You can still submit your accounts and tax returns on time. You can still interrogate the data as you go. And you can use it still to get good management information as you go, regardless of how or where the system is. So online is a number one default. If you're not online, quite frankly, you are crippling your business. You need to be with an online system. Full stop. Bottom line. Second thing you need to be looking for with an accounting piece of software that's absolutely critical from my point of view is it has to be what we call MTD compliant. MTD. MTD is shorthand for Making Tax Digital. That is the HM Revenue and Customs designation for a way of keeping your accounting records in a digital format and keeping the integrity of those accounting records in a digital format all the way through to when you file various returns with the Inland Revenue and Customs rather. At the moment, it is only compulsory for VAT registered businesses, and in particular VAT registered businesses with a turnover of £85,000 plus. So why do I say it should be compulsory for everybody, regardless of who you are? Quite simply because that's the way the revenue is going anyway. In my view, it's not going to be long before they start requiring you to keep your records in that format for your income tax, your corporation tax, however it needs to be kept. It needs to be all be done digitally. So if that's the direction the revenue is going in, quite honestly, you need to be ahead of the game. Because if you want to keep a step ahead of the revenue, if you want to keep in control of your tax, if you want to keep in control of your numbers, get in there first. Equally, it's really good accounting practice. It forces a discipline on you in terms of managing and controlling your accounting records. And the businesses that succeed, the businesses that do well, are the ones that have good discipline when it comes to managing and looking after their money. Because that's what fundamentally your accounting system is about. It's about helping you manage and look after your money. And if anybody knows me and my firm, fundamentally that's down to your cash. You will all know that I bang on about cash all the time. Look after your cash, and Everything else will look after itself as time goes by. Rule number 1, how's your cash doing? What's your cash flow doing? What's your cash flow forecast? Everything else will look after itself. So make sure you're online, make sure your software is MTD compliant. Once you get that sorted, then quite frankly, there's a lot of choice out there for you, and it comes down to what's good for you. Number 1 starting point, of course, I suppose, once you've got those 2 bases sorted, is how good is it at invoicing? Excuse me. Can it get your invoices out? So, if you're looking at an online system, you're not just looking at posting your invoices out to people. Does it allow you to capture your clients' names, addresses, telephone numbers, email addresses, company registration numbers, all of that kind of stuff? Why? Not just so you can send your invoice out. No. The invoice is not the important thing. Quite frankly, you can send out invoices willy-nilly. Invoicing is not important. What is important is, do the blighters pay the invoices? Can you get your money back? That's the important thing. The invoice itself is neither here nor there. So what matters is, have they paid it? And have they paid it on time? So how good is the accounting software's credit control system? Does it send out payment reminders? Can it automate late payment chases? Does it give you late payment reports? Does it allow you to look at your aged debtors? Does it allow you to interrogate it to find out who's not paying, how long they're taking to pay? Are there repeat offenders? Things like that. Absolutely vital to making sure that you run an effective business. Linked to that, of course, does it then have various forms of payment integration? So can people use their card to pay online? Can you set up direct debits? Great way of ensuring you get paid. Running direct debits online. Really easy, even if you're only a small one-man band, you can get direct debit set up. It's really easy. Talk to your accountant. The systems are already out there. Fabulous. Can it link to your PayPal? That sort of stuff. Then importantly, can it link to your bank so that you can import your bank statements? It can do, your accounting system can actually do all your bank reconciliations for you. Check what invoices have been paid. It can check what expenses have been paid. It can check to say, hang on a minute, are the transactions here which I don't know anything about, which it can flag up to you for review. Things like that. Really important, absolutely critical bits. How does it do it? How well does it report that information to you? Secondly, if you are somebody who has an online shop, if you have inventory, does your software, of course, do inventory management? Does it allow you to keep track of what you've got, how many you've got, when it's come in, when it's gone out? Does it have automatic links through to your shops at Amazon or Etsy or eBay or however, so that it can import the transactions automatically, upload them, do the management with your stock, also manage the various fees that get associated with that? A lot of the software will do that automatically for you. Really useful. Okay, so those 2 things quite key for income. On the expenses side, if you've got staff, does your software do good payroll? Does it have good payroll integration? Does it all do all the calculation for you? You've got software out there that will not only work it all out for you, but you've got software that will then link to your bank and sort out the payments for you. So once you've input the data, it'll just chunter away and do it for you. So you can forget about it, apart from making sure you've got cash in the bank to pay them. Really important. Link with payroll, of course. Have you got a system that allows you to track people's time? Your time on projects, other people's time on projects. Because then that gives you the opportunity to potentially look at how they report on projects or reports on jobs, so that you can do individual cash flow or individual profit and loss reports based on how profitable each particular job was. Really important. Other things that then become important are expense tracking, making sure that you're capturing all of the receipts for your business. And one of the things that a lot of software moves down to now is using app-based applications on people's phones and so on, so that you can collect people's receipts on the fly. One of the things that used to really irritate me when I was a manager in a big company was people would ring up and say, oh, I've lost the receipt for such and such. Can you still pay me the expense anyway? And it's like, well, yeah, but we can't then reclaim the VAT on your fuel if you've lost the receipt. Thank you very much. Yada, yada, yada. If you've got an app-based system, there is absolutely no excuse for you to not have receipt collection on the fly as you go along. It means there's no excuse for somebody losing their receipts, losing their paperwork. You've got all the data. They've done it as they're going along. Thank you very much. Really helpful, and actually gives you a much more disciplined workforce. It allows you to focus much more effectively on what actual expenses are being collected as they happen. Gives you live data. Really, really useful. Linked to that, of course, the app can also do things like mileage tracking. So that will link quite nicely into Project if you bill them for the amount of time you spend out. If you want to manage your fuel usage, are people using effective and economical travel routes, you can link that in if you're a logistics firm into your software for route mapping and route planning. Really, really helpful. Keeps your fuel costs down, keeps your fuel economy high, helps keep your maintenance costs down in terms of, tyre wear and all that kind of nonsense. So really important. And then finally, the other key component that you need to be looking at is the reporting element. And this one, once you've got all that basic data in, is actually really what it's all about. How good is the system at giving you the information you need falling out of it so that you can look at in great detail cash flow, expense mapping, job and project costing, and your overall status. And then also, can you export that data, manipulate it in your spreadsheets, and start looking at budgeting, looking at future planning, looking at future activity, so that you can start doing expense analysis. You can look at your cost base, things like that help keep your business running effectively and efficiently. Some software allow you to export it into spreadsheets. Some will actually do a lot of that analysis for you inside the software. So there you are, a whole stack of things to look at. It sounds complicated, but actually it's really, really straightforward. It's just take a logical approach, work through what you need, and there is plenty of choice out there. You won't end up being limited to one or two pieces of software. You'll still have a large range of things to look at.
Please unlock your device first.
That's my phone telling me to talk to it as well before I do that. Never mind. Anyway, thank you very much. This is David from Dingle Lane. Have a great time. Thank you very much.